Field of 9 running. Stand up well with the starter on the platform, the lights on. Away and racing, Rancher's Jewel missed it ever so slightly from the inside. Imaginero wasn't flash away. Matric bounded away in front, leads early. Going up on the outside was Sportsworks, and they were followed by Stage Performer. Rancher's Jewel's just behind them, and it came further out on the track, Super Ruby. Mubarak and Perfect Craft was back in the field, but out wide. Running up towards the 800-metre point, and Sportsworks gets over in front of Matric on its outside. Imaginero gets to third on the fence, and they were followed by Super Ruby, Rancher's Jewel on the rail. Stage Performer behind those, followed by Mubarak, and Perfect Craft was out wider as they run down with about 500 metres left to go, and Zero Pike was back in the field. The leader over on the inside, Sportsworks, shaken up a length and a quarter, Imaginero, then Matric. Rancher's Jewel behind them, Super Ruby, followed by Mubarak and Perfect Craft, not doing enough. Sportsworks, 250 metres to go, led 2.5 lengths to Imaginero. It's a good break, it looked a winning break. Then Matric and Super Ruby's running on strongly, but Sportsworks is well clear. 150 to go, and he's got a well one. 4 lengths in front of Super Ruby, and Mubarak flying down the outside, but Sportsworks wins by a length and a half. He's done. Mubarak a good run second, Super Ruby third, then Imaginero followed in by Matric, a break to Perfect Craft, and then Zero Pike, Stage Performer, and Rancher's Jewel was back at the rear of the field. Very easy win there to number 5, Sportsworks, written by Mick Dittman. Good run behind the heavyweight and Clever Zoe here last Saturday, Gary, and it was a good tough performance, but today he was too classy for these, and he won with a lot in hand.
He certainly did. He jumped very well and went to the front and cruised along on the rail, raced very true. Tell John Hawkes has done a very good job turning his horse out, and he'd been well educated and he raced like it. Here he is now, he's well clear, and he's got all the others struggling.
Look at the grey run on out wide in the screen in the blue colours. Must be 8 lengths off the lead here in flash time. Geez, looking for a bit further, this fellow, but a real nice horse for David Hayes and the connections.
Certainly is, and also they've ran pretty good time. 1:4.8.
Which is 2.3 outside the record.
So this track, you know, is definitely improving. Yeah, there's Muraback getting home very strongly. But the winner, I think, was eased up by Mick Dittman here. He's gone to the line with a lot in hand.
When Sportsworks, $3.20 and $1.40. 3 Mubarak, $2.70, and Super Ruby, $2. Quinella paid $14.30. And the trifecta, $94 even on numbers 5, 3 and 7, race 1 at Flemington.
And yet another beautiful rug, the Bobby McGee's rug. And gee, there have been some magnificent ones this week. And that means they're ready on the track for the presentation.
Campbell Fever out, Mimizan 45. Mustanella 13, No Telling 26. Didn't have a lot of luck the other day. Prima Cornice 25, Rochetta 14.70. Solution $5.60, very well into the weights here. Snip of Luck 24. Then we go over the page to Rubik 6.50. Gitana $11. Inject, well, it's come up extremely short, 280 and 120. Missalunga 27. Miss 5, 151, Orsay 24, almost $165,000 in the win pool for race 2 at 1:10 Well, Dr.
I like it when Graham says it's a quiet tip, having just told 3 or 4 million people. It's now longer very quiet. Thank you, Graham. Yes, as Peter said, one of Australia's most recognised voices, and I should say faces too, is back at the track today after 5 years in retirement. I don't know whether retirement's all that fair, but he's calling the Jockeys Legends race today. G'day, Bill Collins.
G'day, Tim. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you.
There's only 10 running in the Legends, so it won't be too tough.
It's not going to be a hard race, no. I'm not going to worry about names. I'm going to call the jockeys because that's what the viewers will be interested in, and the people on the course are the jockeys, not the horses.
All right, let's have a look at them, and there's some very, very famous names going around. Johnny Letts is riding our horse. That's the 10 out of 10 in the beautiful 10 colours.
Yeah, well, John has won 2 Melbourne Cups, of course, and Piping Lane the first time he'd seen the horse, the trainer or the course. And he won it then later for Colin Hayes on Belldale Ball.
Gee, there's some great names here. Midge Didham.
Well, he won on the grey Baghdad Note. He won a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson.
Well, he's the record holder of the boys riding with 3. He won on Gatham, and then 2 years running later on Rain Lover.
Yeah. Neville Voigt.
Well, Neville hasn't won a Melbourne Cup, but he's won a lot of great races around Australia, and Hay-Eye was the horse he won a Caulfield Cup on. That's his favourite.
And Mick Malyon?
Well, Mick is, I think he won about 3 Caulfield Cups, not a Melbourne Cup. Everybody can't win a Melbourne Cup. Sure. As many champion jockeys haven't made it for that. But after he gave up race riding, Mick was stable track rider for Colin Hayes, because Colin valued his opinion so much, and he could judge how well a horse worked and tell him how well it worked. He was invaluable to him.
Now, Jeff Lane today is riding at 71 kilos. He's had a good time in Hong Kong, Jeffrey.
Yeah, and remember, he's taken off 9 or 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Jeff was the golden boy, of course, in Victoria. He didn't win a Melbourne Cup, but he won 3 Victoria Derbies.
Yeah. Heap of Oakses.
And Oaks, and of course he rode an all-time favourite Dorlageary.
Kevin Mitchell.
Well, Kevin is best described as not so much a jockey as a horseman. Kevin rode for many, many years. He won one of the big races on Beecherville in Sydney, and on Far Race he won an Adelaide Cup. And he's just a marvellous horseman, and he's now, of course, assistant starter for the VRC.
And Bobby Skelton.
Probably the best 2-mile rider in the world. He won a Melbourne Cup on Vanderham. He's won many 2-mile or 3,200 metre races. How he'll go in this 800 metres today, I don't know. But knowing Bobby, he's a great rider. He'll be there.
Now, Donegan was working off memory, but he said that you called 34 cups?
Yep, that's right, 34. First in 1954 and then right through to the last 1987. When
that was Kensai's race.
Yeah.
Enjoying, well, semi-retirement. You're still doing a bit.
Oh, I'm still doing a bit. I'm still involved with the Greyhounds and the TAB and 3YZ, of course.
Yeah.
But it's different because it's, you know, I'm on the other side now, and a lot of the criticism that I, as a commentator, used to poke at a lot of these people, I understand why they did a lot of these things now, Tim.
Yeah.
And so it is great. It's given me a new insight and almost a new start in life.
All right, now you're going to call a race for us at 2 and then come back and have a chat.
I am going to call it, but once again, I'd tell all our viewers that I'll be calling the jockeys because that's what they're interested in. I won't be calling the horses.
I think they've given the horses some pretty silly names anyway.
Well,
so
maybe they have, but I'll be looking after the jockeys.
Thanks for coming in.
I'll see you later, Tim.
Terrific to see you.
Good.
Bill Collins. Well, now, this lady was big, she was brave, she was absolutely beautiful. I backed her. And now she's a mum. The 1988 Melbourne Cup winner, Empire Rose, or Rosie to her many fans, was the darling of the Aussie turf, and Danny Malecki caught up with the famous lady at home in New Zealand.
The 1988 Melbourne Cup winner is now 10 years of age and the mother of a yearling filly sired by Star Way. Wakanui Stud in Cambridge, New Zealand is home to the mighty chestnut. Rosie retired with 9 wins from 48 starts and prize money of just over $2 million. Empire Rose was trained by Laurie Laxon and mostly ridden by Tony Allen. As a 4-year-old in 1986, Rosie finished 5th in the Cup to Attalac. The following year, the big mare was bloused by Kensai in a blanket finish before her moment of glory in 1988.
Empire Rose has kicked away in the Cup from Apollo Run now. Bono, Natsky's flying out wide. Empire Rose in front. Natsky's got a challenge late. Empire Rose a length in front. Natsky trying to get to her. Empire Rose a half in front. Natsky won't make it, and the big mare wins.
Empire Rose's huge frame and extremely placid nature won the hearts of many and has been one of the most popular Melbourne Cup winners. Empire Rose was sired by Sir Tristram out of the top staying mare Summer Fleur. She has a full brother who was just 1 year old, the same age as her own foal, and we look forward to both hitting the racetracks and carrying on where Rosie left off.
Magnificent big horse she was, she really was. And speaking of Rosie and being a mum,
Hello, Mal Watt for the Cadbury Red Roses Stakes. Only a field of 14, so they'll all come down the flat side rail. And let's see what tape punters have made of the second event as we check out the...
Over the straight 6, 1,200 metres. The light is on, away and racing now. And over on the inside, Mimizan got away fairly well. Solution jumped out quickly and is showing speed from Rubique and then Prima Cornice, and they were followed by Allsay and Rochetta wider out. Missalunga was next, and Snip of Luck is the widest runner, followed by Snippett's Girl. And getting in behind those was Gitana. Running up towards the 850 metres point, Mimizan kicking up along the inside, joins Prima Cornice and Rubique. Rochetta was wider out, and they were followed by Missalunga. Just behind those, though, was No Telling, and then came Snip of Luck and Snippett's Girl wide out. Solution buried in behind them, followed by Inject being ridden along a little bit over on the inside. She's still 5 5 lengths off them. Mustanella was back last and also starting to make up some ground from Miss 5. Running down with about 400 to go. Rachetta just in front. Solution in a second. Gitana starting to run on strongly. And then came Rubique, followed by Inject trying to get up along the inside. Gitana moved up on the outside of Solution. Then came Rachetta, followed by Rubique. Also behind them, and then Snippert's Girl. Gitana took the front from Solution. Then Rachetta also getting out of the pack and running on, but Gitana went straight past Solution. And Gitana drawing clear, opens up the wing, 3 lengths Solution. Third in Rubique, and then Mustanella a good run. Also next in, and then came Snippert's Girl, followed by Rachetta. Oh, Inject was a shocker today, and then Miss 5 and Snip of Luck, no telling. Well back Prima Cornice, and then Miss Alunga. And Mimizan, one of the early pacemakers, has run last.
And Dan, look at the time they ran, 1:09.
That's very good time. That's only 1.3 outside final cards record. This track is virtually bordering on fast, so what an improvement.
That's right, and I think we're going to all have to start backing Stephen King his first ride every day. He just seems to get up on his first or second ride every day.
Particularly John Marr has a terrific record in race number 2 during this carnival. $13.70 and $3.80 for Gitana, $1.74 Solution, and $2.34 Rubique. Mustanella was a clear last at the 600 and ran 4th. And 5th home was number 15, and that was also a nice performance. I thought she might have got into the place at one stage, but just weakened. Rachetta showed speed, but obviously her preferences for her wetter conditions.
That's right.
But didn't Gitana get to the post well?
Very good hits, Gitana, just going past Solution. Stephen King even hasn't, just riding at hands and heels. He's very confident at this stage of the race. He knew he had a lot of horse under him, and she's just worked right away from them.
She swept past Solution and won it like a really good filly. Rubique battled on pretty well. I thought it was a nice gutsy performance, but Mustanella got to the line really well, number 4.
Yes. No, that was a very good win.
Gee, the winner, number 11, Gitana, $13.50 and $3.80. Solution, $1.70, and Rubique, $2.30. Quinella, $40.60, and the trifecta, $572.80 on numbers 11, 8, and 10.
Riding change in this. B. Hibbard goes on to number 7, Mango's Lunch. And Dan, you can check out the totes. As we said, Naturalism coming up, tremendous value.
$2.60, Peter, for Naturalism, but he's got plenty of weight to contend with. Cool Credit, $9.20. In the event, $8.30. Tanui Prince, $22. Silk Ali, $11. Mango's Lunch, $8.40. He's well on the betting. $11 for Ahura, $7.80 for Kaviri. Famous Nick, $26. Palatana, $49. Baron Samedi, $36. At Best, $37. Scratching is Whitworth, just under $100,000 in the win pool. For the Gray Smith Stakes, which is a listed event, carries prize money of $45,000. Stalls and still Famous Nick away, so they're the 2 horses away from the gates.
And I thought the number 7 horse looked very fit going to the races. Going in down the preliminary, Mango's Lunch.
They're very astute stable. I think Bart won this race last year with Our Dawn Star. Now, Famous Nick goes in with Ahura, and they're set to go for the Gray Smith. Favourite Naturalism in the green and white colours. And they're racing now. Caught them in a fair line. Mango's Lunch a little bit slow within the event. And one of the first out was Ahura with Silk Ali racing up on the speed. At Best gets the 3rd early, and then Palatana very wide. Naturalism's 3 off the fence early, and they were followed by Kaviri and Baron Samedi, Cool Credit, then Famous Nick to Nui Prince. Mango's Lunch was second last, and in the event a length away last, about 8 lengths off the lead. Going to the 1,600 metre point, Silk Ali pulling on the inside of Ahura. Palatana's going up 3 wide. There's no speed on early. Followed over on the inside, 4th by Kaviri, and then At Best 1 off the fence. A length and a half to Naturalism, 6th early in the green and white colours, and down on the fence was Cool Credit. Followed by Famous Nick. Baron Samedi's trapped 3 deep from Mango's Lunch and Tanui Prince. And 2 lengths away last of all in the event, and he's 10 lengths off the leader, Ahura. 1,200 metres to go, the mare in front. Ahura by a length and a half to Palatana. Silk Ali still hasn't settled 3rd, 2 lengths away At Best, and then Kaviri. 1.5 to Naturalism, keeping out of trouble on the outside of Cool Credit, then Baron Samedi and Famous Nick. Mango's Lunch was 3rd last on the rails, a length away to Nui Prince, and 1 away last of all in the event, and he's still 10 lengths off the leader, Ahura. Going up towards the crossing, 900 to go, Ahura by a length. Silk Ali off the fence 2nd, 2 lengths away Palatana, then At Best and Kaviri. 1.5 to Naturalism, he's 5 lengths off the lead, followed by Baron Samedi. Cool Credit coming into the race, followed by Famous Nick, and then came Mango's Lunch. Tanui Prince second last and 2 lengths away in the event. Around the turn as they bunch up now, 500 metres to go. Ahura just in front of Silk Ali, and At Best is out 3 wide. Here's Naturalism 4 deep. Kaveri needs a run, followed by Cool Credit and Baron Seedy behind them. 300 metres left to go. Silk Ali in front. Now Naturalism called on. Kaveri looks for a run at best, is running on. Silk Ali 250 to go, a length and a half in front. Naturalism is flat, trying to wear him down from Kaveri, and Cool Credit from a long way back. Silk Ali in front, Naturalism wearing him down, and then Cool Credit. Naturalism goes up to Silk Ali. Naturalism puts his head in front, and Naturalism. One of the short half head to Silk Ali and Cool Credit third. Then Kaveri and Mango's Lunch in the event. At best next in from Ahura, Famous Dick, and then to Nui Prince, Baron Samedi, and Palatana was last. Well, I think you'll find he'll just get there, Gary.
Yes, I think he, well, Mick Dittman had to call on everything to get him there. And I think he's just nailed Silk Ali right on the line.
Good effort, Silk Ali, because he didn't really settle in the race. He pulled hard early.
He over-raced. It was a funny run race, Dan. They went very quick for the first, say, furlong and a half. And then they eased. And a lot of the horses wouldn't come back under them.
Well, photo finish here with Naturalism on the outside in the green and white colours. And he's got it. And there's a huge roar from the crowd. Good to see some smiling faces Cup week, because they haven't had a very good week, the punters. 190 and 130 Naturalism, 220 for Silk Ali and $3.10 for Cool Credit. And I'm sure Lee Friedman, the trainer of Naturalism, would be a very relieved man to see the horse get through unscathed. And I think Peter Donegan is going to chat to the Melbourne Cup winning trainer of 1992, Lee Friedman.
And a relieved man to see the number one go in the frame, but gee, well, that was a terrific performance.
Yeah, it was a fantastically gutsy performance, because I've sort of, I had to run the horse in the race. I didn't really want to have to run him because he was going to have to give so much weight away. And I remember George Moore saying to my father years ago that he said once horses get over 2,000 metres, they start having to carry 9 stone plus. He said it's very hard for them to win. Oh, this horse is carrying nearly 10 stone and weight. Yeah.
Were you worried when Mick had to go 4 wide, because the danger, I suppose, was that the other things were going to sprint around him and put him in a pocket?
Yeah, well, no, I was pretty happy with that, because I said you'll have to get him rolling a bit earlier, because I said he's not going to sprint with that weight, and that's what happened. All he's done is flattened out the last 200. He went to the line like a nice mile and a half for us.
Well, when you see 63 kilos on their back and they're looming up alongside a lightweight in the last bit, that's probably the time the weight's going to tell, but he was doing his best work at the finish.
Yeah, it's a sign of a very good horse, isn't it? Because, I mean, the other horse was entitled to worry him out of it.
What about the plans now, Lee? When does he go?
Probably go Tuesday week, and we won't run him again before the race.
Will it be hard for him to acclimatise over there, do you feel?
I don't know, mate. We'll tell you when we get there.
All right, good on you, Lee. Well done. Lee Friedman, the trainer of Naturalism. What a super horse he is. Numbers 1, 6 and 2, the time 2:1.5, and that... You won't see too many more courageous performances than that on a racetrack. 63 kilos, and he will deserve the accolades of the crowd that he is getting now as he returns to scale with Mick Dittman in the saddle. 1, 6 and 2. We've got a break coming up, and then we'll come back with more on the Grace Smith Stakes at Flemington.
Again, Mal Walden, 3 people have died.
30 Silk Ali, $2.20. Cool Credit, $3.10. Quinella paid $9.10. And the trifecta, $75.10. 1, 6 and 2 on the Grace Smith Stakes.
Okay, now we can see...
And we're taking a look at the riders here that will be competing in the 800-metre race at the Honda Legends exhibition race. And Mickey Mallion's just come out. We might see if we can have a chat to Mick. Mick, I'm all right. How are you?
Bloody nervous.
Are you? Why?
Oh, no. First time for a few years, Pete. First time for a few years.
How long since you've been on one?
Oh, I ride a couple every morning. Yeah. No, it's very nice. Lovely, this.
You got any tactics planned, Mick?
Jump out and get down first, I think. Peter's about the best thing I can do.
All right, well, I've got to have to talk to Letzi behind you because he's riding our horse.
Oh, geez,
I heard you, Mick. We were always mates when we were over in Melbourne, weren't we, Mick?
Yeah. Now, look at this. You've got the 10 logo on and everything. You know there's a fair bit of pressure on.
There's a lot of pressure on.
We've got some instructions from Gary Rice, the Managing Director of Channel 10. Win. That's it. One word.
What's at the end of it, Pete?
Oh, look, we'll have a word to you afterwards, Letzi.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Now, listen, how long since you've been on one?
2 years.
Yeah?
I just hope I stay on until I get to the barrier and then we turn around and start back again. Getting down there's going to be the hardest part, Pete. I think I can come back all right.
All right, Letzi, good luck.
Thanks,
Johnny
mate.
Let's riding 10 out of 10. Well, let's go and see some of the other boys. They're over here. Jimmy Johnson, of course, is a boy who's won 3 Melbourne Cups. When I say a boy, he is a great man. Neville Voigt's over here as well, and Bobby Skelton and Jeff Lane over there, resplendent. And Kevin Mitchell, who's now the assistant starter, and Midge Diddham, and there are the boys as they get their photos taken.
Am I riding Schillaci or what?
Yeah, you're riding Schillaci, Letzi. All right, well, the boys are just going to have to step back here because the horses are coming around, so we'll get all these cameras and everything out of the way as we do. Neville Voigt. Well, not so long since you were in the saddle, Nev.
Oh, well.
It has been a little while. You're looking forward to this?
Yeah, lovely, eh? Fantastic.
Looking forward to riding against the likes of Jay Johnson, 3 Melbourne Cups.
Yeah, it's fantastic, eh?
What about your horse? Do you know much about him?
I don't know.
4 legs and a tail. All right, well, speaking of Jimmy Johnson, here he is, Jim. If we can just grab you for a moment. 3 Melbourne Cups, the first 29 years ago, but I bet you're pleased to be back at Flemington.
Oh, yes, it's quite a thrill, and I mean, we've been made so welcome since we've been over here, and we're enjoying it immensely, I can tell you.
All right, do you know much about your horse?
No, haven't got a clue.
All right, good luck, Jim. Just hoping, says Jimmy Johnson. Well, Midge Diddham's about to go over there. And
listen, Peter.
Yes, Tim?
You're asking the jockeys, do they know anything about these horses? Do you know anything about them?
No, because they're all racing under assumed names.
So I tell you what, they look great.
They 10
do
look great.
10 out of 10 is a superb-looking mount.
And Jimmy Johnson, I tell you what, he looks fit enough. He doesn't look any different to when he won the Cups back in 63, 68 and 69. He won on Gaddam and Rain Lover twice, one of the great champions of the turf.
Did Jeff Lane fit into his silks?
Well, Jeff Lane's just got up on the horse and got a round of applause for that, so imagine what's going to happen if he happens to win. But no, Jeff looks pretty fit. And so does his horse, and this is going to be very interesting. And of course, another legend, Bill Collins, as we mentioned before, will be calling the race. Letzi's up there with the Channel 10 colours on 10 out of 10.
I wonder how you fancy a commentator's race next year, mate.
Past him, I'd be prepared to concede that to you just at the moment.
The 90-kilo class.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just get that, but only just. But gee, it's a great scene down here, and well, the crowd has stayed around, and this is a great promotion by the VRC.
It is indeed.
We might just move out of the way because I think Letzi's just about to run us over, and knowing Letzi, if he's got one opportunity, he'll take it. But he looks pretty well. He's smiling at the moment.
Oh,
just having a chat to the clerk of the course.
Still looks at home on board,
I wonder if he'll be smiling later, Letzi.
Yeah, he still looks at home on board, though.
He does, and Midge Diddham's following him around in the gold and green colours. He's riding a horse called Colours, sponsored by Mitties. Jimmy Johnson's on the grey horse, number 3, Easy Music. 3MP, of course, one of the sponsors of the races today. And then behind them is number 5, and that's Mick Mallion. And behind him, we've got Jeff Lane and also Kevin Mitchell. Kevin, one of the great, well, I used to call him a great money rider, Kevin Mitchell. When the money was on, there was no better man than him. Now assistant starter, Bobby Skelton's there. And, well, it makes a great scene, and the crowd really warming to this scene down here in the mounting yard as they prepare to go up to the 800-metre start.
Oh, Letzi looks happy.
The Legends.
Yeah,
he
Letzi
does
looks
look
happy. Yeah, he do.
Well, Letzi, of course, is no stranger to this carnival. Not only has he ridden a winner, but Letzi worked with us on Channel 10 for a few years and did a wonderful job. Well, he's not up in the broadcast box today, but Dan Malicki and Bill Collins are, and gee, they look fit, these horses, and I reckon the riders look even fitter, gentlemen.
Certainly do indeed, Peter. It must be marvellous, particularly for you, Bill, and well, just to see these jockeys come back, but also me growing up as a race caller, I idolised you, and to have you making your comeback, so to speak, today.
Well, yes, Dan, it's a bit of a turnaround, isn't it? I remember about 15 or 16 years ago when I interviewed you as a young lad on the ABC, and I'm borrowing your equipment to do this Legends race today.
Funny how things change, but it's fantastic. It's a great setup by the VRC to produce this race today.
And here they are getting ready to come out onto the track. Ladies and gentlemen, the runners in the Honda Legends exhibition race are now coming out onto the track preparatory to the running of this event. Leading them out is 10 out of 10, which is raced by Channel 10, owned and trained by Patricia Longmuir, and John Letts is in the saddle. Johnny Letts, winner of 2 Melbourne Cups. Piping Lane, the first time he'd seen the horse or the racecourse, and then later for Colin Hayes, Belldale Ball. Number 2 is Colours. It's raced, represented by Middies, owned and trained by Tony Lawrence. Midge Diddham. Midge, one of our fine riders, who won the Melbourne Cup on the grey Baghdad notes. Number 3, representing 3MP, is Easy Music, owned and trained by R. Anderson. The rider is Jimmy Johnson, winner of 3 Melbourne Cups on Gaddam Gaddam, 2 in a row then on Rain Lover, and Jimmy was also the rider of Tobin Bronze. Tobin Bronze, the horse who won a Caulfield Cup and also was successful in 2 Cox Plates, and the second Cox Plate, when he was leaving for America, the greatest reception I've ever heard on a racecourse. Number 4 is Outrage, raced by Bobby McGee's, owned and trained by Kay Stirk, ridden by Neville Voigt. Neville, of course, from New South Wales, winner of many top races, including a Caulfield Cup on Hay. Number 5, Frequent Flyer, raced by Qantas Australian Airlines, owned and trained by E. Green, ridden by Mick Malyon. Mick, one of our top riders who won, I think, 3 Caulfield Cups, and regarded as a great judge of pace, and he was retained by Colin Hayes for many years towards the end of his career and after he'd finished riding in races as his track rider. Number 6, Breezy Legend, raced by Honda Australia, owned and trained by Mrs. E. Comerford, ridden by the golden boy, Jeff Lane, in the red colours down there. Jeff, of course, rode the great Dhaulagiri, is the winner of 3 VRC derbies, one of the great riders of our time. Number 7, Course of History, raced by the Victoria Racing Club, owned and trained by Mr. L. Brown. Kevin Mitchell, not so much a jockey as a horseman. Kevin in the saddle and racing in one of the colours made famous by Farlap, the red with the black and white hoop sleeves. And number 8, Around the World, raced by British Airways, owned and trained by Mr. H. McCallum, ridden by Bobby Skelton, Bob renowned as the greatest 2-mile jockey in the world. Won on that rainy day here on Vanderham, the day the Cup was postponed for about 20 to 30 minutes before the running of the event. These are 8 of the great gentlemen who have thrilled us over the years on racecourses throughout Australia. Going down to the 800-metre mark, where the Honda Legends exhibition race will start. Well, Danny, in our screen at the moment, we can see Jeff Lane in the red colours, and in the Farlap colours, Kevin Mitchell, red with the black and white hoop sleeves.
2 very famous colours, Bill, particularly those Farlap colours, certainly around 1930. I think they would have been the most famous set of silks in Australasia. And Bill, I would imagine you would have had the great pleasure of calling all these jockeys at one stage through their magnificent careers.
Yes, I have, and that's one of the reasons I've come out of retirement today after I called my last Melbourne Cup here in Kensai in 1987, and it's 4.5 years since I broadcast a race of any description, and you know, when I hung the glasses up, I said, well, that's it. But when I see these wonderful boys coming back to ride in this race to make entertainment for the large crowd at Flemington, I finally succumbed that, well, if these legends can come back, I can certainly come back. And I've seen them, as you say, win all their big races, and it's certainly a great pleasure for me to have a look at them again. This race over 800 metres, a lot of people may think they're not fair dinkum, but I can assure you they are. I went down into the jockey's room before with the permission of Mr. Lawler, and I said, well, fellas, are you going to finish 8 in a row? So I said, you know, it's a trip, probably the most famous dead heat in history. They said, not on your life. There's a trip to Bangkok involved in this. So they're all going. They're all fair dinkum. And they're arriving down at the starting point now. And I'm going to call these, I'm going to call jockeys' names because you're not interested in the horses. I'll just be calling the jockeys' names in the running of this event. And Kevin Mitchell and Jeff Lane are going to be the last 2 to arrive there. Midge Didham is down there with Neville Voigt. And Jimmy Johnson. And John Letts, of course, is also there. And Mick Malyon. So they're all down there behind the start. They've all been given a lecture, these fellows, by Pat Lawler. He's going to give them 11 months and 3 weeks if anybody causes any problems in this. That's just in case they run the race again next year. Now the boys are being called up towards the barrier. They're checking their barrier positions at the moment. Bobby Skelton will start from the outside. And so the field is being called along to the line. John Letts is the first to bring his charge along towards the inside at the 800 metre on the straight course. Midge Diddum in the yellow colours coming forward next. Jimmy Johnson in the blue with the yellow motive comes in. Bob Skelton has gone up to barrier 8. He's in navy blue with